My intimate photo with the movie Emperor was exposed. That night, I got swarmed with hate on trending searches. I'm so wronged. Those were all just fake pictures I photoshopped myself back when I was fangirling over him. Before I could even explain, the movie Emperor tagged me on Weibo, my girl. During a live streaming variety show, a staff member accidentally knocked over the pile of notebooks I had stacked in the corner. There were everything: classmate yearbooks, novels, account books, etc. They were all relics from 6 or 7 years ago. The director asked me to go over and sort through them while reminiscing, aiming to create a small highlight for the show. I picked up each notebook, wiped the dust off, opened it, struggled to recall the past, and explained with a smile to the camera, until I picked up a small blue booklet with no title on the cover. It looked familiar. Even though I hadn't opened it for years, I remembered what was inside. It was the photos of Jiang Yunqi and me. To be precise, they were pictures I photoshopped one by one back when I was fangirling. Jiang Yunqi debuted 6 years ago. He was an excellent singer and dancer, blessed with the top-tier anime come-to-life godlike visuals. He blew up after a variety show appearance. Later on, he didn't limit himself to being just an idol. With his talent and hard work, he won the Best Actor and Best Singer awards multiple times. His career flourished in all directions, and now he is a phenomenal, top-tier, A-list megastar. 6 years ago, after that incident, I became infatuated with the newly debuted Jiang Yunqi, becoming one of his many girlfriend fans. Love to fantasize. Plus, I had good photoshopping skills back then, so I really enjoyed editing those pictures. Who would have thought this booklet would be dug out now? I took a few deep breaths, wanting to skip over this booklet and move on to the next one. The director's chubby body squeezed over. "What's this? Why are you taking so long with it?" Before I could react, the photo album was already open. The first page was a picture of Jiang Yunqi kissing me. Director, fans and viewers. Without thinking, I lunged forward, trying to block it with my body. "It's a misunderstanding. This isn't." Before I could finish, my manager's emergency call came through. Her excited voice, combined with her loud volume. The viewers in the live stream heard it clearly. "Ye Cen, finish up this recording quickly. We're off to do a dating show." Before I could explain, the director cut the live stream. "That's it for the recording. The show's definitely going viral. Ye Cen, you're really the show's lucky star. Who knew you had this up your sleeve? You're amazing." "No, director, listen to me. All right. Don't worry. The show's team will handle the PR control. You just wait for your big break." After finishing that live streaming variety show in a daze, the only thought left in my mind was, this has blown up. The other party is a top star, a movie emperor. Whether he's dating or not, it's not something a nobody like me, an 18th-tier obscure celeb, should randomly expose or use for clout. This matter, at best, I get blacklisted and leave the industry, and he loses some fans but keeps his status. At worst, someone seizes the chance to attack him, and not only me, but even he might lose his footing in the entertainment industry. I closed my eyes. It's over. I entered the entertainment industry in the first place because of Jiang Yunqi. And now, not only haven't I helped him, but I've become a liability. Just as I was feeling dejected, a Weibo notification suddenly popped up. "Jiang Yunqi, my girl, at Ye Cen." This was Jiang Yunqi's account hacked. But it wasn't me. I was a bit confused. Just then, my phone buzzed twice. There was a friend request, with a simple note: "Jiang Yunqi." My idol's friend request was right there, but I didn't dare click to accept. Soon, another request came from the other side. "Don't worry." Just these 3 words made my eyes instantly heat up. I wiped my face and clicked accept. I saw the other side's status change to typing, but after 10 odd seconds, no text came through. I hesitantly reminded him first. "Teacher Jiang, it seems your Weibo was hacked. Do you want to clarify?" "I'll cooperate with whatever you need." The typing status on the other side clearly paused for a moment before reappearing, only for words: "Let's meet." I arrived half an hour earlier than the agreed time. Unexpectedly, Jiang Yunqi was already sitting there even earlier. He lowered his gaze slightly, his fingers tapping rhythmically on the table, giving off an aloof and transcendent aura. No matter how much time passed, he was still as stunning as ever. As if sensing my arrival, he looked up slightly, his cool gaze falling on me. With his distinct, well-defined fingers, he poured me a cup of tea. "Have a seat." But how could I have the mind to drink? I tried hard to control my gaze, not to look at him, clenched the hem of my clothes, desperately telling myself to stay calm. After several rounds of mental preparation, I nervously explained, Teacher Jiang, I'm not trying to ride on your fame. I used to be your girlfriend fan. Those photos were all just my random edits. I was wrong. I'll explain however you want. Cooperate however you need. Absolutely no complaints. Jiang Yunqi stared at me for a few seconds, thoughtful. You'll cooperate with anything? Yes. He nodded, then pushed his phone over. On the screen was clearly that Weibo post of his. I looked up at him, puzzled. Jiang Yunqi's cool voice spoke calmly. Then go from being a girlfriend fan to being the actual girlfriend. Me? My mind went blank, only one thought flashing through. After mistakenly exposing something, the male god offers himself. Did I save the Milky Way in my past life? With the male god right in front of me, I tried my best to stay calm. But if it becomes a real relationship, Teacher Jiang, won't you lose even more fans? Jiang Yunqi paused. You don't want to? That sincere tone, combined with what he said, it felt like I was being proposed to. My brain overheated, and my inner thoughts blurted out uncontrollably. I'm willing to marry you. When I realized what I had said, I wished I could bash my head into a block of tofu. So embarrassing and conceited. Trying not to cry, I wanted to explain, but I saw a fleeting smile curl at the corner of Jiang Yunqi's mouth. Woo-woo. Is he laughing at me? My face burning red. I struggled for a long time but couldn't get an explanation out. Finally asking instead, should we sign a contract then, to prevent me from clinging on or anything later? Jiang Yunqi unhurriedly refused. No need. I paused for a moment, then felt overwhelmingly touched. The male god is so good, trusting his fans so much. I patted my chest, promising, okay, Teacher Jiang, I won't let you down. Pleasure doing business. Jiang Yunqi slightly tilted his head to look at me, his handsome brow raising a bit. Still calling me teacher, I subconsciously responded, okay, husband. The air instantly froze. Realizing what I had said, my face flushed crimson. Why can't I keep this mouth under control? That I am meant. Yunqi? A trace of amusement tinged Jiang Yunqi's eyes, his cool voice reaching my ears. Him. After a pause, he added, calling me husband is fine too. Jiang Yunqi personally drove me back. Sitting in the passenger seat, my head still felt a bit floaty. Only one thought filled my mind. It's worth it. This life is worth it. I just hope this isn't all a dream. I secretly pinched myself. Ouch! That hurts. Turning my head, I saw the clean lines of Jiang Yunqi's profile, firm and smooth, with a mole on his tall nose. The dim lighting added a touch of softness to his cool, sharp features. I was gazing, mesmerized, when his pleasant voice sounded. Haven't looked enough? Embarrassed, I averted my gaze, my face burning. Jiang Yunqi chuckled lightly, smoothly parking the car under my apartment building. Next time, I'll let you look your fill. I nodded repeatedly, thinking for a long time but not knowing what to say. In the end, I just awkwardly said, then, I'll go first. Jiang Yunqi nodded faintly. Feeling a bit disappointed, I was about to get out of the car when he suddenly leaned over. One hand even came to rest on my cheek. My pupils shook, my heart pounding wildly. This is you. Jiang Yunqi's beautiful eyes were slightly lowered, his eyelashes casting a small shadow beneath them. He covered my cheek with his whole palm, his thin lips parting lightly. There are paparazzi. We have to sell the act fully. Him. I nodded randomly, my body stiff, not daring to move, letting his breath fan across the crook of my neck. It tickled a bit, but my heart was beating wildly. I don't know how long passed before Jiang Yunqi finally chuckled softly and moved away slightly. No more paparazzi. Jiang Yunqi smiled, his eyes seeming to hold scattered, crushed starlight. A few shots are enough. Oh, okay. Him, still not letting go. Huh? Looking down, I saw my two hands tightly clutching Jiang Yunqi's collar, looking like I didn't want him to leave. Me! After entering the apartment, I gasped for breath, my hand over my still racing heart that just couldn't calm down. That wave of paparazzi really came at the right time. I couldn't help but blush brightly. I ran to the bathroom and splashed my face with cold water several times before the flush finally faded. But my mind kept wandering. Jiang Yunqi is a top-tier movie emperor. If the paparazzi are quick, the story might break tonight. I wonder if the paparazzi's photos turned out nice. Thinking this, my hand kept tapping to refresh Weibo. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Until the moment I fell asleep, There was only one thought in my mind. Why are today's paparazzi so useless? I was jolted awake again when Sister Lin literally yanked me out of bed. Tell me honestly, what exactly is your relationship with the movie Emperor? What relationship? Boyfriend-girlfriend relationship? My smile gradually widened as I wiped the drool from the corner of my mouth. The old me was his fan site manager. The current me is Naohuru me, the movie Emperor's girlfriend. Beaming with pride, I waited for Sister Lin to shower me with praise. Instead perfect timing then, move into the show this afternoon to start filming the dating reality show. When Jiang Yunqi picked me up to enter the show, he was still holding my hand tightly. Looking at his fair, strong hand, I felt a bit uneasy. Won't this make you lose fans even faster? Jiang Yunqi didn't speak, but instead squeezed my hand even tighter. I silently gave him a thumbs up in my heart. As expected of a movie emperor, not caring about losing a few fans here and there. The artists in the show all had decent status. At a glance, I was actually the most obscure one. But luckily, thanks to Jiang Yunqi, I got a pretty nice place to stay. Soon, the show began filming. Without any surprise, the first segment was making dinner. Quickly, the couples went to get ingredients one after another. Of course, most of the girls were cooking while the guys teased and flirted from the sidelines. I felt awkward. After all, I'm a certified kitchen disaster. I can't cook. Just as I was about to ask someone for help, Jiang Yunqi walked over to me without hesitation. His long, strong hand reached out and took the knife from me. My cooking skills are pretty good, girlfriend, Jiang Yunqi said unhurriedly, picking up the ingredients and getting to work. Somehow, the ingredients that should have been messy seemed inexplicably cleaner in his hands. The rhythmic chopping even gave an illusion of being pleasing to the eye. Just as I was zoning out, a cool voice sounded by my ear. Help me roll up my sleeves. Jiang Yunqi was wearing a loose sweater with wide cuffs. His strong arm faintly showed a few veins. I blinked and helped him roll up his sleeves section by section. Just as I was finishing, he spoke again, his voice light and cool. Pull my collar open a bit. I looked up, gazing at his sexy thin lips and the bobbing Adam's apple. It's hot. Suddenly, my own face felt hot. Jiang Yunqi's cooking skills were something else. A dish of chicken wings stuffed with rice had everyone who tasted it singing its praises. After dinner, a fruit dessert was served. Beside the mousse cake, 2 pieces of mango were placed as garnish. But before I could hesitate over the mango, Jiang Yunqi naturally speared the mango from my plate and took it away. I looked up blankly. The mango was already in his mouth. Huh? Doesn't Jiang Yunqi dislike mango? Lost in thought, I pursed my lips. Am I not a dedicated enough fan? When did Jiang Yunqi change his taste? But I breathed a slight sigh of relief. Perfect. I've always been allergic to mango. One bite, and I guarantee I'll be covered in red hives half an hour later. By sheer luck, I dodged a bullet. Slowly eating my cake, I suddenly remembered something. Yesterday, I don't think I ever told Jiang Yunqi my home address. How did he drive straight to my building? Is the movie Emperor's agent really that powerful? So jealous. As the day's activities ended and everyone was ready to wrap up, my sneezes and coughs seemed unstoppable. Not wanting to draw attention, I held it in until my cheeks were flushed. But Jiang Yunqi still noticed. When our eyes met, I waved my hands trying to explain, terrified he'd think I had a cold or was sick. However, before I could speak, Jiang Yunqi turned and went into the bedroom. Soon, he handed me a mask. Put this on. A bit confused, I watched as Jiang Yunqi walked over to the production team. Do you have an extra towel? The director's team handed over a towel while puzzling. Not enough. I thought I counted correctly. Standing there in a daze, my gaze happened to collide with Jiang Yunqi's look back. Ye Cen is allergic to dust mites. My cheeks under the mask suddenly burned. As expected of a movie emperor, doing his homework so thoroughly, he deserves his fame. Back in the room, he used a dampened towel to wipe everything down. I spoke softly. Let me help you tidy up. No need. Jiang Yunqi didn't even look back. It'll be done soon. After a round of cleaning, Jiang Yunqi finally took off my mask and took a couple of deep breaths himself. Try now. Do you feel a bit better? I tentatively took 2 deep breaths. Didn't sneeze once. My eyes couldn't help but light up, a smile tugging at my lips as I nodded repeatedly at him. It really is better. Jiang Yunqi lowered his gaze slightly. It was my oversight during the day. I shook my head like a rattle drum. Only after blocking the camera with my clothes did I let out a long sigh of relief. How could I blame Jiang Yunqi? Very few people know about these little quirks of mine. How does he know so clearly? After the lights went out, The room was pitch black. I couldn't help but feel my face burn. Oh my god. In this lifetime, I'm actually lying in the same bed as my male god. The faint, pleasant scent of soap lingered around me. Excited, I rolled over. The thumping of my heart also pounded against my eardrums. The more I thought, the more excited I got. Unable to sleep, I simply traced Jiang Yunqi's outline in the air, slowly drawing from the blanket covering him up to his hair. His nose bridge is so straight. I really want to touch it. However, just as my hand moved closer, Jiang Yunqi, who had been sound asleep, suddenly opened his eyes and tilted his head to look at me. Me? Let me explain. Before I could finish, Jiang Yunqi's large hand reached out and pulled me into his embrace. Warm breath fanned against my neck. I held my breath, not even daring to exhale heavily. As I lay stiffly, unsure what to do, the person beside me suddenly began to sing softly. Cradled in his arms, his large hand gently patted my back over the blanket. Little treasure, go to sleep quickly. He is singing to lull me to sleep? His clear yet slightly husky voice was incredibly pleasant. I was mesmerized without realizing it. As I drowsily fell asleep, I couldn't help thinking, if fans saw this scene, they'd probably tear me to shreds. The first episode wrapped up quickly. The first thing I did after leaving the set was frantically check Weibo. After all, forcibly tying myself to the movie Emperor as a CP, I was prepared to lose 500,000 followers. However, upon opening my Weibo homepage, I saw me. New followers, 5 million. Are these all anti-fans? My hand unconsciously clicked on the linked account, Jiang Yunqi's Weibo. I found that the fans he had lost had all returned. The previously uniform stream of hate comments under his posts had completely vanished, replaced by a wave of "Ahash, what's going on?" I actually find this obscure little celeb pleasing to the eye now. The obscure little celeb is so good looking, and old Jiang's gaze at her is practically gooey. He even remembered her dust mite allergy. Woo-woo, I've lost my love from now on. Oh my god. Old Jiang doesn't even like mango, but he ate the obscure little celeb's portion. From now on, just kill me with these two. I was stunned. What gooey gaze? Coincidentally, I scrolled upon a post with a screenshot. It was of Jiang Yunqi turning to look at me just then. Different from his usual cool image, in the photo he seemed much gentler. His gaze did seem to have that gooey quality. As expected of a movie emperor, his acting is truly on point. Even a collaborator like me is studied so thoroughly. In comparison, me, a former girlfriend fan, now contract girlfriend, I'm really not being very professional. Feeling guilty, I casually scrolled down. Then, I paused on one comment. Old Jiang hasn't sung for almost 6 years. Never thought I'd hear him sing in this show. Youth is back. Right. Since that incident, I never heard him sing again. 6 years ago, the first time I saw Jiang Yunqi, I fell hard. This man completely fit my aesthetic preferences. Top-notch professional skills, great singing voice, and most importantly, he didn't have a single scandal. As a die-hard fan, following him all over the country was a common occurrence. Back then, a friend joked, "Ye Cen, you like Jiang Yunqi so much, why not just debut on the spot and follow in his footsteps?" I had a sudden realization and decided to go for it. I directly participated in the open auditions for Jiang Yunqi's company. I heard Jiang Yunqi would be a judge. I prepared meticulously for that occasion for a long time, but things went wrong right as I was about to go on stage. I was singing a song from Jiang Yunqi's album, right at the chorus part, when suddenly I felt a sharp pain in my stomach. It felt like my stomach was being tightly clenched. I broke out in a cold sweat from the pain on the spot. I don't know why it was so extreme that one time. I only vaguely remember I was in so much pain I almost passed out. Just before losing consciousness, I seemed to see Jiang Yunqi running towards me. I stayed in the hospital for a whole week. Strangely, I didn't pay a single cent in medical fees. After being discharged, I heard the news that Jiang Yunqi had withdrawn from the music scene. On the second night after the variety show filming ended, Jiang Yunqi took me out for a meal. Sitting across from him, I felt a bit uneasy. Could it be that the contract girlfriend assignment was perfectly completed just like that? After much hesitation, I couldn't help but ask, "No renewal?" I fluttered my eyelids nervously, but Jiang Yunqi smiled and pushed a sliced steak towards me. What kind of job quits after just 1 month? Then this is... Jiang Yunqi elegantly cut a piece of steak into 6 pieces. I have to join another crew tomorrow. up in the mountains. I'm afraid I won't have time to accompany you for a while. Oh, a qualified girlfriend shouldn't demand companionship, especially a contract one. You focus on filming peacefully. Jiang Yunqi nodded twice, then pulled out a card from under the table. Buy whatever you like. This is a treatment a girlfriend should have. I received the black card, overwhelmed by the favor, and immediately poured Jiang Yunqi a glass of red wine. When people are happy, their mouths run loose again. Thank you, hubby. Thank you, male god. Thank you, sugar daddy. Holding the black card, I was so delighted I was practically floating. When I looked at Jiang Yunqi again, there seemed to be a faint, elusive smile curling at the corner of his mouth. I rubbed my eyes. Could I be seeing things? In the evening, he saw me home as usual. Sitting in the passenger seat, I suddenly remembered. Last time, didn't we say there were paparazzi taking pictures? Why hasn't anyone posted the photos? Jiang Yunqi paused before speaking, probably intercepted by the team. Ah, that makes sense. I was successfully convinced. Seeing Jiang Yunqi seemed to be in a good mood, I hesitated for a moment before softly asking, "Can I ask you a question?" Jiang Yunqi glanced at me while driving. "Go ahead." I adjusted my sitting posture and looked at him seriously. "Why did you withdraw from the music scene back then?" Jiang Yunqi's singing voice is like his person, cool and clear, utterly captivating. Amidst a bustling city, a soft hum from Jiang Yunqi could soothe my heart. I watched Jiang Yunqi quietly, but for a long time he didn't give any real answer. So stingy. Looking at his smooth profile, I brewed up courage for a while before finally resolving to speak. "Then, do you remember me?" Jiang Yunqi seemed to pause, but just then a siren from an ambulance sounded from behind. Everyone was making way for the ambulance, and the siren completely drowned out my voice. Watching the ambulance speed away, I glanced at Jiang Yunqi. Probably didn't hear. Just as we were nearing my home, Jiang Yunqi suddenly looked at me. "Really want to know?" Obviously. His narrow eyes seemed to flash with a hint of mischief. "Then why were there so many photos of the two of us in your home?" I was left speechless by his question. The interior of the car was confined. Under his probing gaze, I had nowhere to hide. Even though it was already winter, I felt like a boiled shrimp, my whole body heating up. Finally, the car stopped. Seeing my front door, it felt like salvation. "And next time, I'll tell you then." I grabbed the door handle, and Jiang Yunqi chuckled softly. "Then I'll tell you next time too." I spent the whole night at home with my thoughts in a turmoil. After Jiang Yunqi joined the new crew, he was swamped with work. We only exchanged a few words daily. After the variety show became popular, I also became increasingly in demand. The price per episode for TV dramas nearly doubled. Sister Lin has been beaming with joy lately, and I entered a period of being incredibly busy. However, this busy and fulfilling life only lasted half a month. Once again, I skyrocketed onto the trending searches. Alongside me were Jiang Yunqi and the female lead of his current drama, last session's Golden Eagle Award winner, Jo Won. The trending topic content was pictures of the two on set. Their behavior appeared very intimate, and it was deep in the night. Seeing those photos, my heart tightened. Checking the time from that day, Jiang Yunqi had already said goodnight to me by then. Is it over so quickly? When Sister Lin frantically discussed this with me, I pretended to be relaxed. "It's fine, just gossip. Jiang Yunqi will handle it." Yet a day passed, and no statement came from Jiang Yunqi's side. Moreover, he hadn't even sent me a single message. I forced myself not to be affected, but the public opinion online far exceeded my imagination. Jo Won's fan base was many times larger than mine. In the comment sections, her fans managed to turn black into white. Even though Jiang Yunqi and I had announced our relationship first, in the mouths of these fans, I somehow became the shameless homewrecker. Don't think participating in one variety show makes it legitimate. Our Jojo and old Jiang being together has had clues for a long time, okay? You're not even comparable to our Jojo, not even fit to carry her shoes. And you want to steal her boyfriend? Yuck! Who knows what tricks you used on old Jiang? Just look. He hasn't come out to explain even once. That's never happened before. Reading the comments, my fingers trembled with anger. How can these people twist a truth like this? Even fans speaking up for me were collectively cursed, targeting their parents and 18 generations of ancestors. Jiang Yunqi's side, however, remained as steady as an old dog. Sister Lin lost her cool before I did. That evening, she came straight to my set to find me. What did the movie Emperor say? I shook my head. No news. Sister Lin, furious, planted her hands on her hips and let out a long sigh. No other way, I understand. A small fry like me. How could I contend with someone like that? Even though being used as cannon fodder is a bit hard to swallow. How about we just tell the truth? Netizens have sharp eyes. At worst, in the future. Hearing this, I shook my head vehemently. Absolutely not. This was Jiang Yunqi's and my agreement. And there's also the sense of taking someone's money, solving their problems. Besides, this trouble started because of me in the first place. Maybe, I really am blocking the path between him and the one he loves. A movie emperor and a Golden Eagle Award winner. A perfect match. Sister Lin, still angry, poked me again, but could only curse a few empty words before giving up. The rumors online grew more and more outrageous, even startling my nouveau rich dad. Sweetie, did you offend someone? Or is someone looking down on you? How about Dad lets you experience what it means to join a production with investment? After several gloomy days, my dad's attempt at comfort finally broke through my defenses. Dad, you just focus on managing your minds at home. Just as my Weibo private messages were almost getting banned for being too filthy. Jiang Yunqi, missing for 3 days, suddenly appeared at my set. He was still wearing the same clothes from the night we met. Seeing him, I couldn't help but freeze. What was coming had finally arrived. I didn't want to embarrass myself at parting, so I just pretended to be relaxed and greeted him. But the hand hanging at my side unconsciously tightened its grip on my pants seam. Why are you back all of a sudden? You could have just said something about this kind of thing over the phone. You weren't afraid I'd cling to you, were you? Ha ha. My throat felt a bit choked. I turned slightly aside and coughed twice. It's been too cold these past couple days. A bit of a call before I could finish. I was suddenly pulled into a broad embrace. Jiang Yunqi held me tightly, so tightly, his hand gently stroking my head. I was a bit dazed. After breaking free from the hug, I took half a step back. I know. You don't need to comfort me. The contract ends here. Exactly 1 month. The night was a bit dim. There were no streetlights here. I couldn't see Jiang Yunqi's eyes clearly. I could only see his Adamese apple bob a few times before he spoke in a low voice. You asked me if I remembered you, right? Hearing this, I suddenly smiled. So he had heard. But what I cared about was whether Jiang Yunqi back then remembered the me who had followed him everywhere. Now that he's already flown off with someone else, why would I still be curious about that? Not necessary. I squeezed out a smile. Anything you need to say can be done over the phone. You didn't need to come all the way here. Hurry back. After saying that, I turned and walked away. The man I chased for so many years this time. Let it be a farewell. I've always remembered you. My just started steps halted. I fought the urge to turn around. The cool voice sounded again from behind, stirring a whirl of emotions in my heart. I remember you. From the first time you came to the airport to greet me, the time you accidentally knocked over the airport vase. I remembered you. I mumbled softly, my eyes reddening. That was because I was too excited. Jiang Yunqi suddenly circled in front of me, wrapping both my hands tightly in his to warm them. Later, every time you appeared, I would deliberately pay attention to you. For years, you came to greet me over 60 times, participated in 31 events big and small. I remember every single one. I blinked in confusion. Jiang Yunqi remembers more clearly than I do. I tried to pull my hands back, but couldn't. If I'm not mistaken, is Jiang Yunqi confessing to me? Then why have you been silent these past 2 days? Jiang Yunqi frowned. Not lying to you. I lost my phone. Couldn't buy a new one in the mountains. As soon as I realized something was wrong, I came straight here. I don't believe a word of that. Opening my mouth, I couldn't help the soreness that slipped out. Lost it while on a date with a female artist at night. Right. No, after a moment of being torn between laughter and tears, Jiang Yunqi's expression turned serious. That handsome aloofness resurfaced on his face. This whole incident was deliberately orchestrated by her. It was too cold outside, so Jiang Yunqi took me back to the car. As soon as the warm air blasted on, I couldn't help but sigh comfortably. Isn't Jo-won already very popular? Does she need to scheme against you? And where does she get such guts? Did Sister Lin say every female artist who tried to create gossip with him got dealt with harshly? Jiang Yunqi spread his hands, and I instantly understood. So she took your phone, deliberately making sure you couldn't see any messages? While Jiang Yunqi was filming, his team couldn't reach him either. So of course they didn't dare to handle PR recklessly. That's why there had been no response these past 2 days. Smart. I clicked my tongue. So what now? It's fine if I get cursed at, but how do we explain this now? Jiang Yunqi's handsome brows furrowed, his face dark enough to drip ink. However they cursed you, We'll make sure she gets cursed back the same way. I was still a bit confused by his words, but my heart settled down. Without another word, Jiang Yunqi drove me straight to a hotel. Once inside, he unceremoniously pulled me onto the bed. This isn't appropriate. That's not in the contract. Suppressing a secret smile at the corner of my lips. This costs extra. Jiang Yunqi propped his head on his hand watching me. Channeling the movie Emperor, I began a theatrical struggle. However, Jiang Yunqi suddenly leaned down and kissed me on the cheek. I froze as if sealed, my arms still suspended in mid-air in a resisting posture. Drove all day. Be good and sleep with me for a while. Jiang Yunqi tucked my arms under the blanket and buried his face in the crook of my neck. Even breathing soon followed. I slowly turned my head to look at this man. Dark circles under his eyes. My heart still felt a bit uncertain. Now, are we no longer contract lovers? Early the next morning, I was woken by Sister Lynn's phone call. Hey, why aren't you on set? Have you seen the Weibo post from Jiang Yunqi's side? Weibo exploded. I'm asking, did you know him from the start? Keeping secrets from your sister? I listened in complete confusion, turning to ask the man, what did he post this time? Weibo was so crashed I could barely get in. Opening Jiang Yunqi's homepage, I was dumbfounded. His team somehow got their hands on a photo album, filled with pictures of me, big and small. The caption read, officially designated long-term partner. Turning to me Jiang Yunqi's gaze, I blinked, my face flushing, heart racing. What is this? Jiang Yunqi twirled a strand of my hair around his finger. A confession. Isn't that obvious enough? Confession. I swiped through the photos on Weibo one by one. There was me just after debut, me shining on stage, me feeding stray cats and dogs on the roadside, and many photos of me looking up with a smile at greeting events. Even me running around as an extra on set in the beginning. Each photo had a date noted on the back. I shamelessly felt my eyes heat up. Why you? Why were you taking secret photos of me? Jiang Yunqi cupped my face, his thumb brushing my cheek. Couldn't help it. So I took them. Remembering my rocky journey of fangirling, I couldn't help but pout and slap his shoulder. Then why didn't you say so earlier? Say what earlier? Jiang Yunqi asked knowingly, a smile playing on his lips. Blushing, I opened my mouth, then finally waved my hand. Nothing. Jiang Yunqi chuckled, then whispered in my ear. Because I was an idol back then. If I started dating, the fans could be uncontrollable. I was afraid it would hurt you. But after I successfully transitioned, it didn't matter anymore. Once Jiang Yunqi's Weibo post went out, the fans' attitudes did a complete 180. Scrolling through the comments under his post, my heart felt comforted. Finally, no one is cursing me woo-woo. The ones who cursed all ran to Joe Wan's side. Instead, I gained a lot of CP fans. Oh my god. Is this the legendary Mutual Pursuit? Sister debuted for her male god, chasing his footsteps. The male god was also secretly watching over you. Kill me with sweetness. The heavens owe me a Jiang Yunqi. Looking at the comments, I couldn't help but laugh. Jiang Yunqi held me in his arms, a smile lingering at the corner of his mouth. By the way, aren't you going back to film? Not going. Jiang Yunqi's face darkened. I won't go anywhere Zhou Wan is from now on. I blinked in realization, feeling as sweet as if I'd fallen into a honey jar. And one more thing. I crawled out of his arms and sat up straight. Why don't you sing anymore? You still haven't told me. Jiang Yunqi seemed a bit displeased with his now empty arms. His large hand reached out and pulled me back. By the time I regained my senses, I was already underneath him. You still haven't told me. My hands pressed against Jiang Yunqi's shoulders, my heartbeat inexplicably speeding up. Jiang Yunqi's voice was slightly hoarse, his nose touching mine. I'll tell you in a bit. Extra. Jiang Yunqi. I've liked Ye Cen for a long time. From the first time she came to greet me at the airport. When she had me inexplicably paying the airport tens of thousands for a broken vase, I started inexplicably paying attention to this girl. Ye Cen asked me why I haven't sung in a long time. That time at the auditions, I knew Ye Cen was there too. I read every private message she sent me carefully, but she seems to think I never read any. Maybe that's for the best. Otherwise, how could she brazenly call me hubby? Ye Cen's number was a bit towards the back. I waited eagerly for a long time. She sings very well, and she wasn't stage frightened at all. I was so happy she was about to be in the same company as me. But halfway through her song, she suddenly had an intestinal cramp. After taking her to the hospital, I realized something was off. She told me in a private message she had prepared meticulously for a long time. How could she? of all times, gets sick right then. After going back and investigating, sure enough, there was something fishy. It was a woman applying to be my assistant who had put something in Ye Cen's food. Later, during police interrogation, she confessed, saying she wanted to hear me correct Ye Cen on site, to hear her sing a few more lines. The moment Ye Cen fainted, I realized I had really, truly fallen for this girl whose screen name was Little Bear Doesn't Eat Sugar. She entered the entertainment industry. I wanted to help her, but my agent said that excessive attention from me would harm her. To protect Ye Cen, I suppose, this matter had to be dropped. From then on, I also withdrew from the music scene directly. When Ye Cen participated in a variety show, I quietly joined as a guest star. When she acted in a TV drama, I squeezed out time to make a cameo. Sometimes when her resources weren't good, I also had to help find resources for her. I underestimated Ye Cen's drive. She endured a lot of grievances in the entertainment industry, but judging from the private messages she sent me daily via the backstage, she seemed to still be enjoying herself. The first time I took her home, I couldn't resist wanting to get closer to her. In a moment of impulsiveness, I randomly used a paparazzi as a shield. It was the first time seeing Ye Cen up close like that. Her flustered look was adorable, but I only dared to go that far. Take it slow. What if I scared her away? Fortunately, through a series of coincidences, I can now openly protect her.